This is a story of mountains, motorcycles, and motorcycles in those mountains. After having ridden Pyrenees, Balkan and Norwegian mountains, there's nothing much left in Europe in terms of high elevation adventures. But wait, what about the Alps? You know, one of the most extensive mountain ranges in Europe. I have somehow managed to skip those. Apart from some valid skipping reasons, over tourism for one, we decided to still pull the trigger and head down to see for ourselves what all the fuss is about. This is a lazy trip. Our motorcycles travel in the back of a truck while we take the shortcut and fly to Milan. Couple of hours in a plane seat beat couple of days on boring highways. Especially when you can still do work stuff at home in the morning, but find yourself on the shores of beautiful Lake Como in the evening.
Nu, mākslinieks. Sirneklīt.
After a comfortable hotel stay by said lake, we are reunited with our bikes.
Yes, let's go.
And some friendly riding suggestions later.
No Valentino Rossi, eh?
Valentino Rossi, no Valentino Rossi.
We sweat our way east. This is the inevitable and necessary evil of motorcycle travel. But it's nothing a dip in a refreshing river can't solve, especially if that river means we are finally at the real starting point of our adventure, near the border of Slovenia and Austria. And by adventure I mean we are taking the transeurotrail route through all of the Italian Alps, east to west. Wikipedia says that the range is 1,200 kilometers long, but looking at the track, I suspect we'll ride more, a lot more, and we have 2 weeks to do it.
Rieka.
Delicious.
Labs.
Lab.
Hotels and luxury sure are nice, but nothing beats waking up in a place like this.
Labrīt, Itālijā, labrīt, radio, klausītāji. Esam Alpos un baudam rītu.
If sleeping under the stars wasn't enough to fill us with joy, our roofs are blown away by the Friuli-Venezia region, where the TET leads us straight up via the Panoramica delle Vette road. It's a popular route with both motorcyclists and cyclists, but since we are the early birds, we have the road all to ourselves. After a short dip down to the valley, which seems to be the theme on this trip, we take a very steep road and head back to Passo della Forcella, that offers majestic views of the Italian Alps and the Dolomites. We kinda knew that there won't be much off-road, or should I say challenging roads in the Alps, because it is the middle of the Europe after all. So we cherish every bit of steep and rocky path we can get. The workout doesn't last long though, and we are back on tarmac soon enough. But with those views, I'll take it. It's not just the views that the Alps provide. They are rich in history, especially military one. Between the 1860s and the First World War, the Kingdom of Italy built a number of fortifications along its border with Austro-Hungarian Empire. The whole alpine landscape is dotted with former military roads and fortifications. And we take a peek into one of those. It's called Forte di Col Vidal. And as it is with the most forts, they are strategically built on high ground, which only means one thing these days: breathtaking views. I should probably think of some synonyms for the word views, because there will be lots of those. Well, how about vistas? You just look at those vistas. That could work. Only if vistas didn't mean chicken in Latvian. All those chickens must have played tricks on my line choices. And I got a flat. In a village, next to a service booth with all the necessary tools. Lucky me. The transeurotrail track is often drawn in a way that it prioritizes gravel tracks, which is great, but also means that it might skip some must-see places on the bitumen. So every time planning a TET trip, instead of blindly following the GPX, I try to look around the map and see what else is available in the region. Same goes for TET Italy, as it skips the epic mountain passes of the Dolomites. And as it happens, it's possible to draw a convenient loop through Falzarego, Gardena and Passarolle on a 2-day escape from the TET. There is only one drawback. Finding a suitable wild camping spot is a bit of a challenge in these parts. But nothing impossible, thanks to iOverlander app. It's very nice! Okay, there is another drawback. We are not the only ones wanting to enjoy the Dolomites on a weekend. And it's understandable, these roads are to die for. It only means you probably won't go fast, nor will you ride to the limit of the cornering skills of yourself and your motorcycle. But I'd say it's still worth it. once in a lifetime. And with that short scenic detour, we are back on TET. Boy, it feels good to hit some gravel and be the only ones on the road for a change. It does, however, mean a crash or two, but also a great photo opportunity. One might even argue that the smaller, twisty roads are better than the sought-after tourist hotspots. Each to their own, I guess. As the saying goes, adventures start when the sun goes down and you thought you were done. We are no exception. In our case, it's a race with a local scooter that was either some devil machine or a relative of Valentino Rossi. We just couldn't keep up with our powerful bikes. So much about ready to race. It is not the only challenge of the setting sun. We are struck with some unmovable obstacles in form of some forestry hardware, and not wanting to go the long way back and around, we fall back to good old off-roading via some tracks that have fallen into disuse. This is why I love these ADV bikes. They can tackle the great tarmac twisties equally well as some single track. As we find our way back to the road and start looking for a place to camp, we are hit with another surprise. Water. Or rather, the lack of it. I somehow imagined that being in the Alps means also an abundance of little streams trickling down the mountain slopes. I was wrong. And since we are not the smartest cookies in the jar, we haven't bought any reserves. And all of our food preparation requires water. And all of it means only one thing: a dreaded hotel. So fellow camping lovers, be warned. After the first riding days and the Dolomites, keeping the excitement on a high level is a mission impossible. Lots of rather lackluster tarmac doesn't help. A little off-roading does, however. Solo riding has its perks. This, however, is better enjoyed in a company.
Vienam tā sketčī būs.
I guess it's inevitable that TET includes some boring tarmac too. After all, it's a travel route, not a pure off-road one, and you have to cover some ground to get anywhere. The linesman, however, did predict the risk of us falling asleep, so he included some loops that don't lead anywhere but do wake us up. Excuse my possible over-the-top playful use of the 360 camera. I just had to. Also, don't use strong ND filters on your action cameras if you don't want to end up with underexposed footage once you hit the forest canopy. Lessons to be learned. Instead of all these technical jabbers, I could tell you something about where we are riding, but we didn't see anything. Fog is a thing in the mountains. Sometimes it ruins your vistas. Chickens, cows that is. Feeling dizzy yet? Me too. Let's change the scenery and try not to crash into some jeeps on the trail. It might be July in Italy, but it's raining cats and dogs. Time to unzip that rain gear and head down to the Lake District. But that, kids, is a story for another time. Share, like, subscribe, and see you in the next one.
Es nevaru tik ātri apstāties. Tur lejā garda. Ja.